maybe 2.5 like this. So that's better, perfect, look at this.
Broad beans are ready, most broad beans are ready, and I've been given permission by Mrs. Tortellino to collect some because I've got a lovely Sicilian recipe in mind which I will be cooking next. We've got quite a lot this year. We've got some in here and some at the front, so I'll just pick enough for tonight's recipe, which is a beautiful Sicilian pasta, and it will be creamy pasta with just a few vegetables, really simple to make. And then the second batch of beans, I'll use them another day to make some Sicilian broad beans in mint and garlic. Again, a very simple recipe, something which I used to have a lot when I was a child for summer. And I'll see you back indoors. Some peeling to do next, and I'll show you how to make it.
In case you've never seen what a broad bean looks like inside a pod, they're actually quite fascinating. Here, I'm going to show you. I'll open this very slowly, and you can see that they are attached to the pod via this umbilical cord equivalent of, and I'm going to remove that, and this is what I'm going to cook. But if you look on the inside, this is very soft and velvety, so they are like inside a cocoon, if you like. Now let me explain something, because today I will be cooking them as they are, but some people prefer to also remove the outer skin from the broad beans. That is because either they're always cooked like that, or because they find it difficult to digest. You can do that, and that is not difficult, but with fresh beans it's a little bit more fiddly because they are a little bit tighter and more attached to the bean itself. And this is what you might want to remove. And this is what you're left with. Obviously this is going to give you a more delicate taste if compared to leaving this in. But it's a little bit fiddly, and personally I don't mind the taste of the skin, especially because it's rich in fiber, it's good for you, and from my perspective, this recipe, I'm going to blend some of them, so it's not that noticeable. But ironically, some people get quite upset. Sometimes I've received comments where, oh, you should remove the skin, it's horrible. I don't think it's horrible. With food, it's always subjective. It's not horrible. It's down to what you like. So if you like the skin, leave the skin. If you don't like the skin, remove it. And if you even like the little knobbly bit, as I call them, leave it. Doesn't matter. My mum has got an allergy to this stuff on the inside of the broad bean pod. And when I was little, used to be my job to peel the broad beans. My dad sometimes used to come home with a great big bag of beans, either because they've been gifted to him or because he bought them. And I remember spending quite a long time doing exactly this. And I find it actually very therapeutic. You just switch off, and it's quite nice. Also, you can see that as I have progressed, I go a little bit more relaxed, even about leaving the little knobbly bits on, especially on the little ones, because they're tender, so I'm not fast. I think I'm done. I'm going to do the last one, and I'm going to show you how much they weigh all together. I've got my scales over here. I just move them in the middle, and let's take a look. Oh, 480 grams. So I'll be cooking for 2 people, and whenever you cook anything like this, it is always very subjective. Anything between 250 grams up to half a kilo is perfectly okay. I think whenever you're cooking vegetarian meals, you have got a very large range in terms of the scale of ingredients and quantities. So 480 grams is perfect, but I would have been very happy with 300. And of course this is going to be part of my patch to plate series. I'm going to make it vegan. I'm not even going to add any cheese, but you can add cheese if you want. Let me quickly run you through the ingredients. So you've seen the broad beans. This is my mix for soffritto. I'm not going to use it all. It's a mixture of frozen carrots, celery, and also onion. If you want to use the fresh stuff, even better. 1 onion, 1 carrot, and 1 stick of celery. Perfect. I have got my frozen as I've got them cheap. Following by some cherry tomatoes in a tin. You can see that we've been to Sicily and back. Whenever I come back, I try and bring some pasta. These are called ditalini. I will be cooking 160 grams, as I've got quite a lot of beans. If I had less beans, most probably I would compensate by cooking a couple of 100 grams. Also, we'll be using some garlic, some tomato puree. Julia has given me some fresh parsley, which I will be using, not all of it. And here I've got a bay leaf from our garden, and of course olive oil, salt and pepper. And this is some vegetable stock. We cooked some greens yesterday, and knowing that I was going to cook this dish, I kept it. So if you can actually have access to vegetable stock, great, because it will enhance the flavor of the dish. If not, you can always use water, or if you like, just use a stock cube, a vegetable stock cube. Entirely up to you. You can use water, of course. Oh, nearly forgot, as it is optional, but I will also be adding a little chili pepper. This is mild in flavor. You don't have to, but if you like a little bit of heat, very, very nice. And I'm ready to make a start. So I'll add a little olive oil at the bottom of a saucepan, clove of garlic. I'm going to chop a little bit at the end and the bit at the top, and peel this today, as it's a little bit older than normal. Sometimes I leave the skin on, but not today. And I'll just give it a gentle crush, and I'll add it to my oil, and I'll turn this on. And I'll start by keeping the temperature on medium until the oil starts sizzling. I don't want to burn the garlic, so very gentle heat. If you take a look, my garlic is beginning to gently sizzle, so I'm going to add a couple of handfuls of my sofrito. You can see that my sofrito is beginning to sizzle nicely now, so I will leave it to gently cook for about 4 to 5 minutes, especially as mine is pre-frosted, until everything has softened up. Someone mentioned in a video recently that my measurement of tomato puree were not accurate, so I'm going to use a dessert spoon, and I'm going to give you the exact measurement so that there is no confusion. Here, one heaped dessert spoon of tomato puree. I can add it to my sofrito now and mix it in. Tomato puree is really sweet, by the way, so if you wanted to, once this is properly cooked, you could actually use this as the base for a pasta sauce. You could just cook some spaghetti or any pasta you like, and then add it to your sauce. Make sure that you keep some water, and it is an incredibly simple pasta dish. I've just added my broad beans, and I'm gonna mix everything together, and I will leave them to cook with my sofrito and my tomato puree for about 4 minutes, so that they start absorbing some of the flavor. Wonderful. Good time to now add my bay leaf, and I've got here approximately 1 liter of my vegetable stock, and I'm going to pour it all in, just like this, enough to cover the beans by approximately 1 inch. Whilst I wait for it to reach the boil, I'm going to add some salt now, good pinch, and also I've got some pepper, quantities of pepper to taste, but also don't put too much salt in. You can always add some more at the end, and also you will be adding some salt when you cook the water, so be a little bit careful with salt. So everything is started to boil once again. Good time to add a good handful of parsley, and here I've got also my chili pepper. I just remove the little head, and I'll chop in little pieces. By the way, if you like, you can also use chili flakes, but bearing in mind that this is fairly mild, I'll leave the seeds and in they go. And the last ingredient for the time being is going to be my cherry tomatoes. So I've got a tin today. You can also use normal chopped tomatoes, and I can add it in. And very soon everything is boiling once again, so I'm going to give everything a good mix, and I'll place the lid on, and I'll turn the temperature down on medium, and I will leave it to cook for 30 minutes or until the beans are cooked. Mine is an induction hob, so medium is fine. If you've got a gas hob, just turn it between the lowest setting and medium, as they tend to be a little bit more powerful. If you've got a normal electric one, just medium as well. So I've seen about 30 minutes. Best way to test if they're cooked, of course, is to pick a big one
and test it. That is the foolproof. Ooh, hot. Perfect. My water is boiling, so I mentioned a little bit more salt. I'll add a little salt first. And here are my ditalini. Here they look like half a size of a macaroni, by the way. Also you can buy ditaloni, which is a bigger version of this. And they will take about 7 to 9 minutes to cook. So I will leave them on, and in the meantime I'm going to make a little cream using my broad beans. Okay, let's remove the lid, and I'm going to pick some of my mixture of beans and tomatoes and everything else, and add a good couple of ladles. I'm using one of these spoons or slaughter spoon with the holes, so that I just collect the beans first. And now that I've got enough of my beans, I'm going to add some of the stock, about 3 or 2, that's perfect, a couple. Here is a hand blender, and I'll blend this until I get a lovely and smooth paste. This is another very satisfying little job. Now let's have a little taste to see what this is like. It's always good practice to test your food. Besides being nice, it also gives you good information about salt level and everything else, and that's perfect, by the way, lovely smooth. I've chopped a little bit more parsley. This is obviously fresh and it will release new flavor. I'm going to add that to my paste, and where is my spoon here? Oops. And I'll mix it all together so that the parsley start releasing some fresh flavors to my paste now. Okay, my pasta is done. And I made sure that I drained most of the water, but all of the water, as I don't want any more liquid in there, as I've got plenty. So it goes back in the saucepans I cooked it in, and the first thing I'll do is to add all of my cream. You can see that I've been really generous with the sauce. I could have easily added another 100 grams of pasta and it would have been fine. So I'll start by dishing up a portion. So the way I like to do this is to start with some of my pasta in my paste. Pasta in my paste, that sounds quite good. And I'm going to add a couple of maybe 2.5 like this. And actually, ironically, this is good enough as a meal already. But today we are not stopping here. So I'm going to move this over here, and I'll go and grab some of the whole broad beans and tomatoes and add that on top, just like this. Perfect. Actually, most probably I'm better off using this, as I do not want an awful lot of the liquid. So that's better. Perfect. Look at this. And I'm going to dish some of the tomatoes so that it'll give some color, and that is pretty much it. Perfect. Quantities entirely up to you. I like it very rich. And dinner is ready. As I said at the beginning, if you want to add cheese, Parmigiano or Pecorino, but I'll stick to a vegan version today. This is obviously also vegetarian, and it is a food that definitely looks after you. You can see why. And it didn't take long. So it's going to be really hot though, so I'm going to just taste some, and then I will give you my verdict. I'm going to make sure that I get some pasta and a little piece of tomato there. It's going to be really, really hot though. I know it's going to be okay for salt because I tasted it before. It is one of these gorgeous. Generally, you can definitely taste the freshness of the beans, and because I've used those cherry tomatoes, they are sweeter, and it is absolutely delicious. Honestly, I'm not just saying because I'm cooking it. Some of you have made my meals, so you know what I mean. Bon appetit, or try, let me know how you get on, and I hope you like it. Thank you, bye bye.